Welcome to Sweet and Sour. I'm sweet.
No, I'm sweet.
See what I did to you?
I know.
Anyway, Brian is going to maybe hold back on the talking a little bit. He's got a bad throat. We're in San Antonio, Texas for the launch of the GLE. And Brian, in a few short words, what would you say to describe how much new content there is in this GLE?
100% totally new, and this is the highest tech vehicle I've ever driven, period.
There's so much stuff to talk about. We could literally be going for half an hour covering all of the information that's in this. So how do you want to do this? You want to start on the outside and work in?
Sounds good, and you're going to do most of the talking, so
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right, bigger. The GLE is bigger. This SUV is made in the United States. The ML, the previous name, started back in 1997, right?
That's right, and of course, bigger means it's also stiffer.
Yeah.
It's a new platform. It's longer.
Yeah, and more room. And they have, for the first time, the ability to order this vehicle with a third row of seats for 2 extra passengers, really only for kids. But I think some people will go for that because the step up from this is to go to a GLS, and that's a lot more money. So, you know, on the occasion that you need to take extra kids to soccer or whatever, that will be attractive to some people for sure. So it's bigger, it's 80 millimeters longer in the wheelbase, over 100 millimeters longer overall, and I think it looks great. What do you think?
It looks really good, especially you can get wheels up to 21 inch.
22.
Or 22,
Yeah.
but the 21 you get staggered wheels.
You get staggered wheels, and the wheel arches are flared out a little bit with some plastic add-ons, and it really makes this look good. Now, so that's the outside. I think the styling is really strong. It looks like an ML, but it's thoroughly modern and sleek looking. Plus, you get 2 new engines now, right? We're actually driving the base engine now. The base engine currently is the twin turbo 6-cylinder. Now, they have a turbo 4-cylinder in a vehicle of this size. And I thought to myself, this isn't going to be very good. 255 horsepower and 270 something pound-feet of torque.
In a big vehicle. This is not a small vehicle at all.
But it's lighter than the previous version. And you know what? Now driving it, you put it in sport mode, it's actually pretty good. And the overwhelming thing about this new GLE, whether you get this 6-cylinder or you get this 4-cylinder, it's very quiet.
Really quiet. They've increased the welds on everything. They've done so much work giving you a premium luxury experience, and there's no artificial acoustics involved in it.
No, there's no acoustic noise canceling or anything. All the mounting points for the suspension are these large cast aluminum pieces to make the vehicle very rigid. So now that they have this new rigid, longer, bigger platform, they have, before we get to that, the other engine, the inline 6 is back. Mercedes-Benz has gone away from the, I just said Mercedes-Benz. Now the assistant wants to
That's
ask.
all right. Yeah, we'll get to that in a second.
Okay, cancel. Okay, she canceled. So what they've done is gone back to an inline 6-cylinder away from a V6, and now you get a 3-liter turbocharged with 364 horsepower.
I think 362.
362. So that's a great advancement in my opinion. I love inline 6-cylinders. So because they have this more rigid platform, we talked about all that stuff, they have 3 new suspensions. And the great thing about coming to these programs, there are almost more engineers than there are journalists. And if you want to talk to the guy that designed this, he's there, right? They spent 6 years on the suspension, 6 years doing the suspension. So the base suspension is regular steel springs. Then you go up to the air suspension. That's the one we're driving now. And then you go up to what, Brian?
You get an E-active body control.
Yeah, and what it does is it has the air billows, and it has a 48-volt system that is used to use a hydraulic system. So it's hydraulics and it's air billows to have the vehicle move up and down up to 16 centimeters in travel for off-roading. But it also has this cool party trick they showed us. It jumps up and down. So the vehicle can actually jump up and down, and this is useful for places where they have sand, and it can help when the vehicle's moving up, put sand underneath the wheels and dig itself out. Pretty cool. And I think it's going to be used by the LA crowd. They're going to tune it. They're going to do something.
Well, you need some software to do that. Like the one that we saw was not modified mechanically, but it had a different program to it.
They obviously put an extreme program on it.
But talk about the curve.
Oh yeah. Then they have a curve feature when you get the air suspension and that active body control system. It's got the ability, you know, when you ride a bicycle or a motorcycle and you lean into the corner when you're going around a corner, this vehicle also does the same thing, up to 3 degrees. So when you're going around a corner, the body actually turns. It's a bit different at first, but I don't know. Is it a gimmick, do you think, or is it actually worthwhile? How much is it going to cost?
Yeah, it all depends. I can see applications for it, for sure, you know, and it's not for everyone.
So we don't have a price for that here in North America yet. Now the engineers are telling us it's about a €6,000 price difference to get that in the European market, so it's not going to be a cheap option. But it's pretty cool. And if you lived on a twisty country road, might want to go for it if you could afford it.
So inside, it's got everything.
So there, like Brian said at the beginning, there's so much technology in this vehicle. It's the single most technologically advanced launch I've ever been on, right? Everything is new with this. So you get the MBUX, the Mercedes-Benz user experience. That's the whole glass panel dash. We saw it in S-Class, we've seen it in E-Class, it's now in A-Class, and now in this GLE, but you can also offer what are called gesture controls. The way you move your hand across the dash, it's not like BMW that has the, turn the volume up and turn the volume down. It's nothing like that. You put your hand up, and this car doesn't have it, by the way. You put your hand up, and up here, and then the lights come on. Things like that. You put your hand towards the screen, and it knows whether it's the passenger or the driver. So if I want to adjust my seat, it knows it's me. If Brian wants to do it, and he can do it.
It's so intuitive and does things that you would actually normally do. Like if you're reaching into the glove box at nighttime or to your seat, maybe grab your jacket, it knows and it turns the light on for you. And by the way, when you said S-Class, the MBUX is not in the S-Class. The screens are, but right. The system is only A-Class and the GLE right now.
Right. So the screens, as we're referring to, the big 12.3-inch screens are in those cars, but this is the new MBUX. So there's ways to use it. You have thumb pads on the steering wheel. So the left one is for the instrument cluster, the right one's for the center the center screen. You have the trackpad here, and it's a touch-sensitive system as well. Lots of ways to use it, and you can use voice commands.
It's very, very quick too, and haptic feedback.
Okay, so for example, we'll say, hey Mercedes,
how can I help you?
Set the temperature to 70 degrees.
I'm setting the temperature to 70 degrees.
Perfect.
Getting a nice heated massage right now.
Oh yeah, so we talked about the engineers worked on the suspension for 6 years. They started the engineering for this vehicle about 5 years ago, so different components at different times. The lady that worked on the massaging seats as a physiotherapist, I think, that's her background, she's been working on these massaging seats for 8 years. It's incredible. And so yeah, you have massaging seats in other cars, but these ones apparently are next level.
There's so many different programs that you can do on them, and they're fairly strong. Oh, we got some emergency
vehicles.
Now there's some other technology for that. Apparently it can get out of the way for emergency vehicles or something like that. I saw on a slide in the presentation, but not quite sure about that. There's so much technology and safety and stop and go stuff. There's an accident up here, unfortunately.
Yeah, we're stuck in a traffic.
Oh no. Oh man.
I guess people are so brain dead, Like, did you not see that there was a fire truck went by? Rampart, station 51, engine 51. We have an emergency.
By the way, we're in San Antonio, Texas, and it's cold and raining here. It's like totally didn't expect this at all.
It's cold. Like, we got here and we're like, wow.
Yeah.
We're expecting,
You went and bought a down jacket even.
I went and bought a down jacket. I'm not wearing it now. Okay, so while we're stuck in this traffic jam, yeah, massaging seats, the Mercedes-Benz user experience, and then just the overall finish in here is pretty good. I'm disappointed in the bottom of the door cards here are back to hard plastic, and they had the one of the interior designers, and I said, "What's with that?" And he goes, "I know. We had a big long debate about that," and I said, "That's a step backwards. You used to have the soft panels on the bottom." And he kind of admitted that they wish they didn't have to do that. I'm not sure why. Obviously, a cost savings of some kind.
I don't mind them so much. I just think that they're huge, though. They're so wide.
Yeah,
you know.
Now, speaking of big, back seat is huge, very comfortable.
Lots and lots and lots of head and leg room. No problem there.
You know what this reminds me of? Not in looks or design, but in size. It's similar to the new Q8, the new Audi Q8. The back seat in that vehicle is huge, and this one kind of reminds me of that in terms of size.
Yeah, is the Q8 larger?
Well, it's based on the Q7 platform,
Yeah.
but just a little short. But I'm saying the back seat feels like that. All right, and then what other technology? Inline 6-cylinder, turbo 4-cylinder, 9-speed automatic transmission. You obviously standard all-wheel drive in Canada, and what else?
The MBUX.
48-volt system. So if you get the inline 6-cylinder engine, you get the 48-volt system. So what it does is it can save energy into a fairly small lithium-ion battery pack. It helps power things like the air suspension. It has a more active auto start-stop, which turns it off more often, and it gives mild electrical boosts at low speeds, right?
There's so many little things that they've added onto this vehicle. It's so much technology that, like you said, it'll take forever. But like right now, it's raining out. It just reminds me of the wipers. Their wiper system for the washer now, not only is it heated, the washer fluid comes out of the wiper, which is good. So you save some fluid that way. But it actually analyzes your speed you're going and everything to determine how much fluid to actually pump out, so you don't waste a lot of fluid.
Then you get into the safety stuff, the stuff you don't see, and this has the ability to have the sort of autonomous driving at lower speeds. So you can use it in stop-and-go city traffic. Oh, does it?
Yeah.
So you put it on, like we should put it on now?
Yeah,
Put it on?
Put it on.
Is it on?
Yeah. Just if I could.
Oh, 15 miles. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, it says I have to have my hands on the steering wheel.
No, you got the green. So as soon as we start moving, just get it started and then let go. And we'll see.
And it has the ability to not only follow the lane in front, but the lane beside. In situations like this, where it's bumper-to-bumper traffic, the cameras and the sensors have the ability to detect lanes and up to 2 lanes wide.
And when you stop, like we are right now, a lot of other ones, the older systems, after like 3 seconds, when you start moving, you have to actually engage it again. This one, I believe, up to 60 seconds after you stop, it'll still work. See? Okay, let's see. Is it going to go?
I'm pushing the gas.
Oh, you are?
There, now. It must be far enough away. Now it goes. Okay, now it's moving. What I like about the Mercedes-Benz system is it like some of these systems, the car in front will move and then the car will lurch forward really quickly and then jam on the brakes again. This one's very progressive. It's like you would typically drive.
So take your hands off.
Okay.
Take your hands off. So your hands are off. Pedals off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just let it do its thing.
Let us do it.
Now you're all about this.
I love it because most people aren't driving for enjoyment. They have to drive to get somewhere on a commute. And a lot of us have to drive in stuff like this, in stop and go traffic for hours a day.
Yeah.
And this is the best thing. Seriously.
Actually, the head of PR for Mercedes-Benz Canada on this trip, she spends 3 hours a day in her car, an hour and a half to and an hour and a half from work every single day. And she drives a GLS.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's
so
insane.
the people do that, right? Okay, we came to a full stop,
Yep.
and the car in front started, and I didn't have to hit it. Now I can see where you live, and this is your life, right?
Yeah, this is good. This is comfy.
See, I live in the middle of the city. I never really have this.
And it's not that you want autonomous driving, that you're going to read a book or something. Just the fact that it's just a lot less stress. There's a lot of stress in stop and go
Not
traffic.
now, because I got the seat heaters.
I know.
I got the massager
Massage
going.
going.
The car's doing the driving. I'm looking at this beautiful interior. I have to put up with you, but.
Yeah, well, at least you don't have to listen to me much.
So is there anything else you want to talk about? I mean, there literally is all the advanced safety features that are involved in this is just next level. They took all of the stuff that we were already doing and they just made them more robust and more stable and incredible car.
Yeah, it really is. And unfortunately, no pricing at this point, but hopefully soon.
My only issue is with the air suspension. I find this car a little too soft for my taste. I would like to try, and we haven't had a chance today, to try the passive shock absorber because that floaty air thing isn't my jam. I like a little bit more connected. Even with the curves, the e-active suspension, even then it's still a little soft for my taste.
Yeah, for you have a stiffer taste though.
Yeah. But what's surprising me is the Turbo 4. I always thought coming into this, people should go right to the 6. Now that I've driven it, it's worth your time.
Yeah, it's actually, and it's not as loud or buzzy as the previous 2-liter turbo engines. So
Is that a wrap?
that's a wrap.
I'm not going to do the hand thing. I'll give you a hand bump. That's another edition of
Sweet and sour.